I Can't Move, The Missing Chapters, The Leech. In 2020, I had a sleep paralysis episode so haunting that it's still vividly etched in my memory. I was lying in bed, unable to move, when I noticed shadows shifting in my bathroom. Slowly, a figure emerged and stepped into the dim light of my bedroom. The bedside lamp cast just enough light for me to see her clearly. Her skin was ghostly pale, almost translucent, with an eerie glow that made her seem unearthly. Her long, thin brown hair hung limply around her shoulders, lifeless and unkempt. She wore a damp, white tank top gown draped loosely over her skeletal frame, accentuating every bone beneath her fragile skin. Her frail figure was both haunting and sorrowful, like a remnant of something forgotten and left to decay. She started walking around my bed with slow, deliberate steps, her path drawing her closer to me. At first, I thought she might simply head toward the door and leave, but as her movements continued, it became clear that she was approaching me instead. Each step she took sent a cold shiver racing down my spine, the air in the room thickening with a suffocating tension. My mind spiraled. She better not come near me. If she tries anything, I'll stop her. Yet, as she inched closer, her purpose remained a maddening mystery, amplifying my helplessness. Her gaze, empty and unyielding, seemed to pierce straight through me, fixed on something unseen, something beyond my understanding. The memory of previous encounters with the old hag flooded my mind, how she whispered threats that left me feeling utterly powerless. I braced myself, expecting the same kind of torment. But this figure was different, and what happened next shocked me. Without warning, she lowered her mouth onto my clothed breast. The sensation was horrifyingly vivid, an invasion so grotesque it made my skin crawl. Though my body remained frozen in paralysis, my mind recoiled violently, every nerve screaming in silent protest. It was a surreal violation, a twisted mockery of intimacy that left me drowning in disgust. In the depths of my mind, I screamed, "No!" A desperate cry that echoed through my consciousness. The force of that mental scream snapped me awake, my chest heaving as though I'd been holding my breath underwater. But the feeling lingered, the oppressive memory of her touch stuck to me like a shadow. I sat up, shaken to my very core, unable to make sense of what had just happened. The violation was so profound, so visceral, that I couldn't bring myself to lie back down. Sleep was out of the question. For the rest of the night, I sat awake, haunted by the experience and consumed by a sense of disgust and helplessness. It wasn't until months later, as I wrote the first version of my book, that I began to analyze my sleep paralysis episodes more deeply. Much like dreams pull elements from our waking lives, I realized that the figures and events in my paralysis reflected dynamics and relationships I was dealing with at the time. The Leech, as I came to call her, represented someone in my life who was draining my energy and resources, taking without giving anything back. Her parasitic behavior in the episode mirrored the dynamic I had with this person in real life. She was clingy, helpless, and overly dependent, and my tolerance for this behavior was wearing me thin. I began to ask myself hard questions. Why was I attracting this kind of person? Was it because of a savior complex, or was there something clingy in me that I wasn't aware of? This experience inspired me to create a self-reflective workbook called Mirror Minds, which explores how the people and situations we attract often reflect aspects of ourselves. My sleep paralysis episodes weren't just random nightmares. They were lessons, exposing truths about my life and my inner self. They pushed me to examine what I tolerated, what I attracted, and what I needed to change to grow. For those who feel misunderstood or lost in their experiences, remember this. Everything that happens to us, no matter how unsettling, can be a stepping stone to becoming the best version of ourselves. If we choose to view these moments as lessons and act on them, we can find strength and clarity where there was once only confusion and fear.